We're all shopping for essentials online these days, and now you can get rewarded for it. With the Bank of America Customized Cash Rewards credit card, you can choose to earn 3% cash back on online shopping. The essentials have never felt more rewarding. Visit bankofamerica.com/more rewarding to apply now. Copyright 2021, Bank of America Corporation.
Welcome to Speak for Yourself, Starburst Edition. Marcel Swiley, what is going on, Emmanuel?
Hey, if this the Starburst Edition, I'm the good Starburst, because you know them yellow Starbursts be banging.
Those are
Yellow
the
and
best
the
ones,
pink.
the red ones.
The pink.
Red first, pink,
Fair.
and then
Fair,
yellow.
I'll give you
See,
that. I'll
look
give
at
you
you.
that. I'm top three.
Top three. You third, though. What you mean top three? All right, it's time for our top story. Delivered by Pizza Hut. Order today at pizzahut.com. Tom Brady's Bucks beat Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs in the Super Bowl a couple months ago. But now the battle has turned to social media. Fight, fight, fight. Kansas City Royals posted a video of Salvador Perez wearing a Brady jersey after he lost the Super Bowl bet. Perez said Mahomes is the best, and the Royals tweeted, "Sometimes words speak louder than actions." Well, Brady responded, tweeting, "Nah, I think actions always speak louder than words." Mahomes got in on the action, clapping back, blah, blah, with this tweet. "I guess we will see in 20 years. Aye, spicy chicken nuggets." Acho, you like Patrick Mahomes clapping back at Tom Brady?
So I love it because it's so rare that we see authenticity from athletes. Y'all don't take that for granted. It might just be Twitter, but y'all please don't take that for granted. So my brother once told me, he was talking to somebody in college. My brother was a standout in college, defensive player of the year in the conference, whatever. And he was talking to somebody, bro, and they said, "Hey, man, Sam Acho, we love you. You're such an amazing player." He's like, "I mean, no, I appreciate it. You know, it's not really all that special." "No, Sam, you're great. And he's like, "No, I mean, really, it's not that big a deal." And they said to him, they said this, "Don't be so humble. You're not that good." I was like, bro, he told me that story maybe 10 years ago. It stuck with me since. Athletes fall into that category of like fake humility, fake meekness. And it's like, hey, don't be so humble. You're not that good. Damn. I love that Patrick Mahomes wasn't trying to be politically correct, finally. He wasn't trying to be some sort of fake humility where he was hiding his ego. He called it like it was. He was like, "Hey, Tom Brady, we gonna see you in 20 years, big dog." And how do I know that this wasn't some sort of like, fake tweet in jest? Because Tom Brady was talking about the present. It is about actions. We just beat you in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes was talking about the future. When it's all said and done, who's going to be the best? That's why Patrick Mahomes didn't say, "We'll see next season." He said, "We'll see in 20 years. When I'm done playing and when you done playing, that's when we really gonna lay this all out and see who was the greater quarterback of all time, or maybe even who was the greatest quarterback of all time." So we rarely get true authenticity from our athletes. I used to love the Ocho Cincos of the world. Y'all remember? He was sending Pepto-Bismol to defensive backs the week before the game and the week of the game, because he would say, "Y'all gonna get sick of covering me, so you gonna need this." I used to love that, Sal. But we don't get that anymore because everybody just wants to be PC. They don't want to say anything that might get them criticized later on, might get them criticized later in life. Patrick Mahomes said, nah, I'm about it. And yes, Tom Brady, you are the GOAT as it stands by actions. But everybody knows I'm coming, and I might not be there just yet, but I'm gonna get there before it's all said and done.
You changed my mind, because I was going to say, "Nah, I don't like it." I actually love it. I just don't like it coming from Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Ooh, do not bark up that tree, because that tree may fall on you. Shout out to Jay-Z. Saw Jay-Z yesterday. I'll tell you about the conversation later. You ain't the only one see famous people, too, and they walk up to you and say, "Hey." All right. Anyway, oh, man, you just gave me so much. Let me start here. You're speaking out of turn, Patrick Mahomes. In any barbershop argument, which is basically what this was. This was a Twitter beef, and they both getting their hair cut at the same time. And Tom Brady like, I'm talking about right now. And Patrick Mahomes like, "In 20 years, let's check this out." And Brady like, "You might not even have hair in 20 years. We might not even come to the barbershop in 20 years. Like, I don't want to hear anybody in any argument ever say, "Well, let's check on this in 20 years. You lost the argument already. Patrick Mahomes, you ain't ready for this one. It comes off a little cloudy. No one asked Patrick Mahomes anything about this situation. It was Tom Brady responding to a bet lost about Tom Brady. It's an A and B conversation. See your ass up out of here if you're Patrick Mahomes. But you know why he wanted to put himself in there? Because on the field, he can't put himself in there in the same conversation with Tom Brady. Let's talk about Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady. Just that. Can you stay focused in this vacuum? Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady. You want to hear some ugly numbers? Here they come. He's 0-2 versus Tom Brady. But against all other quarterbacks in the postseason, he's undefeated. Tom Brady's sitting there giggling. Like, you really want to beef with me? You average 20 points a game against me, Tom Brady. 34.7 against every other quarterback. Tom Brady's sitting there giggling. Okay, 20 years. Let's check this out. 52 completion percentage. Everything is horrible. 77 passer rating, but 109 against everybody else. Tom Brady like, okay, 20 years from now. So here's the thing. Patrick Mahomes, Superman doesn't talk trash to Kryptonite. He just stays away from it because he knows it's going to make him weak. And if you, Patrick Mahomes, watch your mouth because you're barking up a tree that just might fall on you. Facts, just facts, just facts.
You said Superman don't talk trash to Kryptonite. He just stays away from. That's a bar. Here's a problem with you, Marcellus.
You don't like
You
it.
don't even notice your best bars. It disgusts me. You drop bars and don't even notice your best work. What's wrong with you?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
That's a bar. But here's a question, bro, because I had to toggle with this morning. Through 3 years as a starter, I don't know who is better.
Ooh, okay.
I don't know who is the GOAT. Y'all throw the full screen up there so y'all can digest it. Through 3 years as a starter, Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, they've both been to 2 Super Bowls. Tom Brady had won 2. Patrick Mahomes has won 1. Tom Brady also, though, had no MVPs. Patrick Mahomes had 1 MVP. Obviously, in individual categories, individual accolades, Patrick Mahomes crushes Tom Brady. Different era, different team, different style of play. It's not totally apples to apples.
Right.
But, Sal, it's almost like through 3 years as a starter, I think I'd rather be Pat Mahomes. You got a Super Bowl, and you have an NFL MVP. Tom Brady had 2 Super Bowls. So Patrick Mahomes is like, hey, don't be one of them old heads, Tom Brady. And I hate the old head sell, probably because I'm a new school kid. I'm a young cat. I hate the old head. Here's why.
Okay.
Old heads think that their generation was the best, that nothing can be better than what they have done, that no one can be better than what they have accomplished. And Patrick Mahomes is like, big dog, I'm not going to sit here and try to run a race against you who already has a 19 or 18-year head start. We can't compare you right now to me right now. I'm going to lose that each and every day.
Yep.
But if we compare where I am to where you were at that point in time, if we can compare what I've done to what you had done at that point in time, I might actually be better than you. Yeah, you done got me head-to-head a couple times, but Tom Brady, you got an 18-year advantage, big dog. Like, it's like a dad fighting his son before his son comes of age.
Facts.
Of course Pops is going to win, but eventually what's going to happen is a young son going to grow up. Patrick Mahomes isn't fighting a fair fight right now. Tom Brady has 15 to 20 years of starting experience over Patrick Mahomes. But Patrick Mahomes is letting Tom Brady and the rest of the world know, I'm coming.
Yeah, look, I'm with you there. I am with you there in 2 respects. One, Patrick Mahomes at the same age, at the same time in his career, is better than Tom Brady. But there's no chance in hell, pretty much, that he's going to be greater than Tom Brady. Look, we're both track and field nuts. And I study track and field. Not only did I participate, I study it. I look at age group records, national world records for 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds. And you know whose name I never see? Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt as a youth was not the fastest dude out there. Like, he may have been in Jamaica, he may have been in some international meets. But if you look at the national records of every age, you don't see his name until you look at the world record. He finished the race because success is not linear. So right now, Patrick Mahomes is making an arrogant decision. Well, basically saying, since I was better than Usain Bolt at 14, hey, Usain, we'll check in 20 years. And Usain looking at that like, all right, buddy, good luck with that. And that's what Tom Brady is looking at him like, good luck with that. Patrick Mahomes has his hands full, not just with Tom Brady, but with history. Let me remind you, there's a Super Bowl hangover for the losing team in the Super Bowl. There's only been one team to lose a Super Bowl and make it back the following year since the mid-90s. That's the 2017-2018 Tom Brady Patriots. He has to fight history before he even deals with Brady. Only 3 teams in NFL history to make it to 3 straight Super Bowls. He has to fight history before he can deal with Tom Brady. Why are you trying to fight with Tom Brady? And Tom Brady's like, I've been there, done that. Are we seriously going to sit at this desk? I never put limits on people in terms of what they can become. But here's a safe bet. Patrick Mahomes, you ain't winning no 7 Super Bowls. Like, not a single soul has ever done it but the guy you trying to beef with right now, just because you're better than him at the age that he was 15, 20 years ago. Why are we trying to project so far that he's going to be the second outlier when we still haven't even seen the first outlier finish his work?
Let's go here, because I like our prowess amongst so many different sports. Remember, King James coming out of high school.
Facts.
Everybody was already comparing LeBron James to Michael Jordan. And everybody was like, there is no way that LeBron James will be able to do what Michael Jordan has done. Is LeBron even going to be able to do what Kobe Bryant, the late Kobe Bryant, had accomplished and was accomplishing? Because Kobe was on the heels of that three-peat, and we was comparing LeBron to Jordan, just completely ignoring Kobe. I almost think it's very similar, Sel. It's like, wait a second, Mahomes, there's no way you're going to be able to win 7 Super Bowls. We said that there's no way about LeBron James, and we currently do a show where in a couple of blocks we'll probably end up saying, can LeBron James catch Michael Jordan? It's the same thing that's happening right before our eyes. So when you talk about history and having to break through history, that's what generational talents do.
Yes.
Tom Brady is a generational talent, not a generational athlete, but he's a generational talent. Patrick Mahomes, he's a generational talent. I think that if anybody can transcend what Tom Brady has accomplished, it would have to be a generational talent. We all doubted LeBron James, but LeBron James is literally, as we are speaking, doing what we all doubted he would be able to do. My dog went to 9 straight. 9 out of 10. So if you're talking about it can't be done historically, we're seeing it be done in one sport by generational talent, and Patrick Mahomes is as close to that generational talent as we've seen in this game.
Yeah, and you're making my point, even though I agree with your point, which is you could be LeBron James. LeBron James, to me, is better than Michael Jordan. He could do more things. Gary Payton just came out and said the same thing. But is he greater? Is he going to win 6 rings? Maybe in 15 attempts. like, come on, man. Like, we can't go to the barbershop and say one dude is sitting there, hey, I'm 6-0. I even retired twice, and nobody's ever beat me when it mattered most. And here's this other guy. Well, I went to 15, and I finally got to my 6-1, and I was 46. And everybody looking at you like, hey, bro, go to the salon, bro. Get up out this barbershop with that conversation. That's how first of all, Patrick Mahomes does go to a salon. But second of all, he shouldn't even be in the barbershop with Tom Brady as well, and his salon going, but as well. Here's the problem. LeBron James, Michael Jordan, that's a conversation I would love to have, but I think that LeBron still is falling short in most people's eyes. Patrick Mahomes, are you really trying to play that card where you're not only going to go to enough Super Bowls, but you're going to win 7? When right now, you love to be the king of projection, so let's play your game. He's on pace right now. If he were to win 7 Super Bowl rings, he would have to play 28 years at the pace he's going right now. Now, they started off the same, but you know what happened after that year, after that full screen, Mr. King of Omission? Tom Brady went out there and went back-to-back wins. He didn't go back-to-back 1 win, 1 loss. So right now, Patrick Mahomes, you got to be very careful who you're talking to. Tom Brady is so nice, so PC, he's not going to sun you. But in his mind, like all jokes, there's an ounce of truth. This was laced in fun, but the core of this is 2 dogs who are uber competitive. And Tom Brady's like, why are you trying to compare yourself to me when I know right now, every time I see you on the field, you walking off with a frown?
But still, it's not a fair fight.
It is a fair fight.
It's not, because I wish I remembered my boxing history as astutely as I did. I studied it like 5 or 6 years ago. Remember when the end of somebody's career, I think it was Muhammad Ali, he takes the L at the end of his career.
Yes.
I don't know if it was to Sonny Liston. I forget one of the major great names at the time. Takes an L at the end of his career. But then it's like when the young up-and-comer is in their prime, they're going to defeat you because you.
So why can't Patrick Mahomes beat him?
Because you're not
Tom
talking
Brady
about
old as hell and still waxing
the
them.
difference is physical prowess versus mental prowess. Y'all know the climactic point of a quarterback is when the mental prowess is at the climactic moment along with the physical prowess. In football, at the quarterback position, at this point, Tom Brady got Patrick Mahomes mentally. Now, Patrick Mahomes may have him physically, but what's more important in football? The mental. What's more important in boxing? Most would probably argue at least the physical. So Patrick Mahomes, so he's not fighting a fair fight right now with Tom Brady.
So why he get into this damn ring? Nobody asked you. Patrick Mahomes, we know you own the team, a part owner. We know that you are a better quarterback than Tom Brady, best quarterback in the game right now. Shut up. Take one off.
So you just finna sit here and let Tom Brady throw shots.
Yes.
Because there was a shot at Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
You're just going to sit there and let Tom Brady throw shots at you, and you're just going to take it. I can't. What I'm going to do is, bro, when I was at Texas, we went, I told you this, so I've told y'all this before. We go to national championship. After we go to national championship, we go 5-7. Worst record in Texas football history. And our coach said this, go ahead and kick us while we down because we're not going to be down for long. And that what Patrick Mahomes is saying is like, Tom Brady, I ain't going to be down for long now. You out here trying to get these little shots in on Twitter, trying to take these little jabs on Twitter. That's fine. No, my day will come. And we going to see in 20 years after my day is come and gone how I have topped you. And that's what Patrick Mahomes saying.
First of all, stay in the present, young man. Second of all, you don't know how this is going to turn out. People have had career-ending injuries. You better be appreciative that you are talking to someone and you can learn something from someone who's even persevered 21 years. Third of all, learn the art of quiet arrogance. Quiet arrogance. I possess that. That means inside my head, and I know you don't know this because I don't walk around cocky. I am a nice guy. I talk to any and everybody because I don't think I'm bigger than you. I also don't think I'm lower than you either. Here's the quiet arrogance. Between my ears, I have the biggest cheerleaders with the biggest pom-poms going, go Marcells. I'm a cocky dude between these ears. But it doesn't come out in expression. You know why? Because I don't need you to know. My left hand don't need to know what my right hand is doing. If you were smart, Patrick Mahomes, keep that quiet arrogance to yourself. But you want to be loud and arrogant. And it's not the first time I've seen Patrick Mahomes be loud and arrogant. I watched that Super Bowl game. I watched pundit after pundit, evaluator after evaluator post-game say, Patrick Mahomes didn't take what they gave him. Like just the stuff right here, the present, underneath your nose. They said, move the chains, Patrick Mahomes, you will have success. Instead, that loud arrogance kicked in, and he was like, nah, I'm Patrick Mahomes. I'm better than Tom Brady. You are not going to be greater if you don't take what they give you. All he has right now is opportunity, and that's in the present, not 20 years from now. Here's the craziest thing about it all. Tom Brady is 43 years old playing against Patrick Mahomes in his prime. And guess what happened? Tom Brady went out there and waxed him. 3 touchdowns. How many touchdowns did your young and your prime self have, Patrick Mahomes? Donut. And you're going to wait till the offseason and now want to chop wood and try to bring that tree down when he just showed you when we had time to fight. It's on, and you ain't got nothing for me. You ain't got nothing else? You ain't got nothing for me either. All right, coming up.
I'll show you in 20 years.
Silliness, man. Coming up, James Harden. You already showing me right now. I ain't talking to you. James Harden is out indefinitely for Brooklyn. We'll tell you how high our panic meter is for the Nets. But first, Browns hope Baker's understanding of the offense is significantly better than last year. We'll tell you if Cleveland believes in their quarterback next. I'll speak for yourself for 20 years, man.
Now, Baker Mayfield helped lead the Browns to their first playoff win since 1994 last season, but now is on to the next. Baker's entering his second year in Kevin Stefanski's offense, and his head coach was asked about his quarterback's comfort level with the system. Y'all take a listen.
I hope it's significantly better. We've streamlined concepts and we've tried to adjust what we do based on his strengths, our players' strengths. So I would hope he's much more comfortable from that perspective.
So, Sel, does it sound like the Browns believe in their quarterback, the one and only Baker Mayfield?
Nope. Sorry, bro. Buckle up your chin strap, too. I'm coming for you. Actions speak louder than words. I don't know what happened in the A block with the Kansas City Royals and how they were butchering that and Tom Brady had to correct them. Let's just get back to what the statement really means. Actions speak louder than words, right? The actions of the Cleveland Browns have already spoken to all of us.
Okay, what actions?
Have they picked up his 5th-year option yet? Give him time. You know how long it takes for you to make a decision? No time if you want to make it. Have they gave him a long-term deal yet or even in conversations to do that? So actions speak louder than words, but let's use the words to try to echo and support those same actions. Oh, Baker Mayfield, your coach called you out. I've been a young player before in the league, and I've been coddled. And I wasn't even as good as Baker Mayfield. But they were like, he's coming along. We think we got something special here. We think we have something consistent here. And they were just rubbing me, never outing me like they are outing Baker Mayfield. His inconsistency is making this a prove-it year. Be real. That's why they haven't picked up his option. That's why they ain't talking about a long-term deal. They really closed doors of saying, he needs to prove it. Be consistent. This is the statement that I see coming from the words of their head coach. He didn't sound like he was impressed with Baker and just wants some improvement. I'm going to say it again. He didn't sound impressed with Baker Mayfield in his resume and just wants improvement. He sounded like he wanted improvement so that he could be impressed. Uh-oh, did y'all catch that? I want to see improvement to be impressed. Not that you already have impressed me and just improved. Bruh, we are all coaches, or we have all been coached. Somehow, even in relationships, you know you got a hard truth to tell the homie. That's when the coaching kicks in. How am I going to tell this dude this hard truth without destroying him? And you figure out a way. That's coaching. Kevin Stefanski just wiggled his way into the hard truth. Well, basically, my actions already show you I don't believe in you, but I'm going to figure out a way to worm to that hard truth and tell you, not impressed just yet. Improve, and maybe you'll impress me.
I like it. But here's the thing, so Lamar Jackson's fifth-year option ain't been picked up yet. Josh Allen's fifth-year option ain't been picked up yet. So I can't use the lack of picking up a fifth-year option as an indictment on this man, Baker Mayfield.
Law and order.
But I disagree with you when you say that in this situation, the actions are speaking louder. I've already tried to tell you why that undermines the actions, because not picking up the fifth-year option isn't a loud enough action. We didn't hear the words that should strike fear in the hearts of a quarterback.
Just now?
So, you know that the word that strikes fear in the heart of any man or woman in a relationship is, open quote, we need to talk. Close quote. If you hear that pivotal phrase, fear should be struck in your heart.
Fact.
And if you're a quarterback, if you hear the pivotal phrase of right now, or
Facts.
one pivotal word or phrase, I can't answer that. Those phrases and that word can't should strike fear in your heart.
Hell yes.
We didn't hear any of that. When have we heard that? Sean McVay, Jared Goff is our quarterback right now. Close quote. He was gone a week later. Kyle Shanahan, I can't say anything with certainty about the future of Jimmy G. Weeks later, trade for a third overall pick. Nick Sirianni, head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, we will get to him later. But he says, I can't answer about Carson Wentz. And all of a sudden, those quarterbacks are shipped off. We didn't hear that with Baker Mayfield, Sal. All we heard was, want to see improvement. Hopefully he improves significantly. I would hope.
Significantly? That's not a word? That's not honey, come here.
Significant is significant. It's something. But can't we all, to a degree, improve significantly? Tom Brady threw 12 interceptions last year. 12, sir. There can be significant improvement. What Bruce Arians say about Tom Brady early on as far as understanding the offense and his miscommunications with Mike Evans. Got to improve. So Baker Mayfield, yes, he can improve significantly. He only threw 26 touchdown passes this year. There's significant improvement there. Only had a 62% completion percentage there. There can be significant improvement. I can improve significantly on this show. Not to say I'm not doing a phenomenal job.
And you are. I can't even joke on that.
It's
You're killing
just to say I can improve significantly.
Yeah.
Let's not read into Baker Mayfield being able to improve as an indictment on the Browns' commitment to him.
Oh, man, stop it, man. Kevin Stefanski, you didn't hear in the background, he had his AirPods on, playing that Luther Vandross. Give me the reason to want you back. And he was like, Baker, if you don't give me a reason, bro, I'm looking at your resume. I'm like, and he doesn't want to throw away Baker Mayfield because, one, Baker Mayfield has talent. Two, he has resurrected this franchise. Respect to you, Baker Mayfield. And three, Kevin Stefanski, like, I know what it's going to do to the Cleveland fan base if I get rid of Baker Mayfield. If I don't believe in Baker Mayfield and something goes wrong. And then, what if Baker Mayfield goes somewhere else and blossoms? So Kevin Stefanski's not stupid. He got there after Baker Mayfield. He inherited Baker Mayfield. So he's not just going to go rearrange all the furniture, but he is going to say, this room could be a little more efficient. And that's how he's suggesting move your damn furniture around. If somebody ever said that when they come over your house, they basically saying your house a mess. And that's what he's saying about you, Baker Mayfield. He's looking at you like, dog, among 33 quarterbacks, since you got into the league, you're 26 in passer rating, 29th in completion percentage. Jared Goff is the only quarterback to have more giveaways than you, Baker Mayfield. Rearrange your furniture, bro. Like, make this more efficient. Now, in year one, without an offseason, without a preseason, and with a new offensive coordinator, I'm going to give you a pass. And his offensive coordinator is my former teammate, Alex Van Pelt. Don't make me break no news up here. That ain't my lane. I don't break news. I ain't going to call AVP up like, yo, What's up with Baker Mayfield for real? Real dope. Teammate to teammate. I ain't gonna do that. Last time I did that, I got in trouble. So I told everybody where Jim Harbaugh was going. Yeah, everybody got their feelings. Y'all whack. Anyway, I'm not going there again. However, I am going there on Baker Mayfield, who even last year didn't even improve on his historical numbers, which are kind of low and futile. 30th in NFL completion percentage last year. Got even worse. They don't even run the offense through you. You got Pro Bowlers at receiver. You got Pro Bowlers up front. You got Pro Bowlers in the tight end and the running back group. Everywhere you're dressed up perfectly, the best makeup. What's that, Mac? Mac makeup everywhere, and you still ugly? Boy, if you don't fix your face, Baker Mayfield, that's what Kevin Stefanski is trying to tell him. It's just that simple, man. We've been in this position before. No Pro Bowls, one winning season. It's just an ugly resume to always have his support.
That's fair. I actually think Rihanna has a makeup line like Fenty Beauty or something.
Okay, let's pump that up.
You know,
now.
let's pump that. Shout out to you, Rihanna.
Rihanna.
But you can't touch Beyonce. Nonetheless, if the Browns don't believe in Baker Mayfield, they just got belief issues. That's what it comes down to, Sel. Like, and let's be real. If the Browns, if y'all still don't believe in Baker Mayfield, that's not on Baker. Now y'all just got trust issues. Like, if I'm telling you the truth and you keep doubting me, I can't keep telling you the truth.
What's the truth?
And the truth is, Baker Mayfield with a competent head coach is nice. The truth is, Baker Mayfield is the best quarterback the Cleveland Browns have seen since the 1980s. That's the truth.
That's what's
the
keeping
truth
them,
is,
man.
you're the best quarterback that's been here in the last 35 years. So if you don't believe in me, who else you gonna believe in, bruh? Because you tried believing in Brandon Whedon, tried believing in RG3, tried believing in Johnny Manziel, tried believing in Colt McCoy, tried believing in Brady Quinn, tried believing in Tim Couch, tried believing in Tyrod Taylor, tried believing in a whole bunch of dudes.
Damn.
But I'm the only guy that's actually giving you results, that's actually giving you success. So it's not a matter of do the Browns doubt Baker because of Baker. If they doubt Baker, it's on the Browns. So Baker Mayfield has done things that no one else in Cleveland has done since prior to me being born. Nah. What else? What else?
You sound born again over here, forgetting your past.
What else can he do?
Go ahead.
He truly.
I can tell you what he can do. Play well.
He took him to the playoffs.
Consistently.
He won a playoff
He didn't
game.
take them anywhere. He rolled with them.
He took them to the.
He did not drive that car. And admit it, all your homegirls always say, never date the dude that's in the back on the passenger side, because he's the brokest of all of them, girl. Like, that's who Baker was. He wasn't driving, he wasn't shotgun, he wasn't even behind the driver. He the one out there, hey, girl, what's up? He broke.
Even if he was shotgun, you know this, big dog.
He wasn't shotgun.
He was at minimum, he was shotgun.
No.
At minimum, he was shotgun, and Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb were driving it. At minimum.
Two dudes driving? How'd that happen?
I will not
What
let
car
you
you
tell
got?
me if you're training to be a driver. If you're training to be a driver, there's a wheel on both sides.
Yeah, but one of them ain't working.
I will not let you tell me that Baker Mayfield was not at least riding shotgun.
I'm going to let his record tell you.
If the Browns were running the game through the running backs, Baker Mayfield was at least co-piloting. And here's what we know about somebody riding shotgun.
What?
They can get you lost, too. Because if you're riding shotgun, what's your responsibility? GPS and DJ. You got two responsibilities if you're riding shotgun. GPS and DJ.
And then flip order, too. DJ first, damn it.
I need the vibes, and I need you to get me there.
Yes.
So even if Baker Mayfield wasn't driving the car, if he was riding shotgun, he still had a major responsibility to get the Browns there. And he got them to the playoffs, place they hadn't been since 2002. He won a playoff game, something that hadn't happened since 94. He won 11 games, something that hadn't happened since 94. So even if he was riding shotgun, I'll give you that, Sal. I will concede he wasn't driving.
No,
he was riding shotgun. Shotgun still got major responsibility.
Kevin Stefanski, I hear those AirPods again. No.
Who was riding shotgun then? Who was riding shotgun?
Scrubs.
No. It was when it's really, yeah. That's the part. That's the part.
Who was Kevin Stefanski like he broke?
Who was riding?
Stop trying to holler.
Who was riding shotgun?
Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt were both in the front.
Yes, sir.
And my car has one for the driver, and that would be Nick Chubb. Kareem Hunt sitting there. And then you got to talk about the receiving core, offensive line. You got to say everything to protect them. Let me be real. So
Baker was in the trunk. That's what you're telling me.
Hey, if he don't ball this year, Kevin Stefanski going to have him in that trunk, lumped up. That's what's going to happen. Here's the thing. Fourth lowest in terms of throwing percentage in the NFL. That basically means we trusted you the fourth lowest of any quarterback in the league. You had the fourth fewest attempts. You know why? Because we don't really believe in you like that. We running this football, homeboy. Let's talk about this. You said a few things I got to get to. One, I dare you compare Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen to this situation. The only reason they're not talking fifth-year option with them is because they're talking long-term with them. They're talking hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. They're already actively negotiating big money. So we're going to just look past this fifth-year option because obviously that's going to be handled. But let's talk about Baker Mayfield because all your stats are inflated because of environment. And oh boy, once again, Baker Mayfield gets inflated because he's hood rich. Basically, he's in a horrible situation, but since he's doing all right, we're going to inflate it. We're going to say, oh, that's amazing. He's basically at a horrible school. The worst Cleveland Browns has been pretty bad historically, right? It's the bad school, as they used to say when I grew up, the dummy school. Okay, guess what? You can't have a 2.1 GPA, Baker Mayfield, at the dummy school and be valedictorian, and I'm supposed to be impressed. I am not impressed by your 2.1 GPA. That's what's happening here. You're giving Cleveland, because of their history, so much credit. You grading on the worst curve ever. He got a 2.1 GPA, dog. That's it. He rode the wave to the playoffs. He didn't make waves to get him to the playoffs. So stop with this Baker love.
Here's what we got to say, Sal, because this is the disconnect that you are fueling and allowing to continue to be pervasive in our society about Baker Mayfield. Marcellus Wiley.
Society.
Usage isn't always about trust.
Okay.
We have a show where it's a 50-50 split, right? Former athletes, we be up here. We both do the same amount of work on this show. But there are a plethora of shows across sports networks where the host doesn't really talk that much.
Facts.
And it's not because they're not trusted to talk, but what's their responsibility within that team? On some shows, you the host, you don't talk a lot.
Facts.
Not because you aren't good at your job. There are plenty of hosts that are all-time greats in the Sports Hall of Fame on other networks. Shout out to my dog, Greeny. But your usage is just dependent upon your responsibility within that team. Baker Mayfield's usage isn't very high with the Cleveland Browns. It's not a matter of trust, but what is his responsibility within the team of the Cleveland Browns? So I got to say, I'm not going to use Baker Mayfield's usage as an indictment on Baker Mayfield's ability. It's just speaking to the nature in which the Browns run their organization.
But be real. How many times we watch those shows? They're like, oh, they got a new host? Oh, another new host? They're interchangeable for a reason. Because you ain't the one really making all this work. Coming up, James Harden could be out to the playoffs after suffering a setback. Another host? We'll tell you how high our panic meter is for the Nets. That's next on Speak for Yourself. Look, no one's perfect. Even the best baseball players strike out with bases loaded. Yeah! The best golfers sometimes three-putt with the tournament on the line. 4! So if you feel like you come up short in the bedroom sometimes, it's perfectly okay. But if it's bothering you, there are options. Go to GetRoman.com/speak right now. With Roman, you can get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for ED, all from the comfort and privacy of your home. A U.S. licensed healthcare professional will work with you to find the best treatment plan. If medication is appropriate, it ships to you free with 2 days shipping. The whole process is straightforward and discreet. Shh. Getting started is simple. Just go to GetRoman.com/speak and complete an online visit. Take care of your ED without leaving home. Complete an online visit today to connect with a doctor and take care of it. Go to GetRoman.com/speak right now to get $15 off your first month. Look, there's a straightforward way to take care of your ED. GetRoman.com/speak. Get started right now to save $15 on your first month of treatment. With Vroom, you can buy a car entirely online and have it delivered straight to you, so you never have to go to a dealership again. Yes. Instead of going to a dealership, you can buy a car from home or park, or even as you listen to this podcast, literally anywhere else. With Vroom, you can browse thousands of cars in one place, so you don't have to spend your weekend driving out to a million different dealerships. You don't have to haggle or negotiate with pushy salesmen. Hey, man, leave me alone. When you sell your car on Vroom, you get an offer in minutes, so you don't have to waste time at a dealership anymore. Thank you. Vroom is entirely online, so next time you need to buy a car, just grab your phone, go to Vroom.com, and check out thousands of great cars. Sunday on Fox, the NASCAR Cup Series heads to Talladega Superspeedway for the Geico 500. High-speed action starts Sunday at 2 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Brum, brum, brum. Let's head to Brooklyn, where the news is not good for James Harden. Steve Nash said his, quote, back to square one after Harden suffered a setback with his hamstring injury. The report says Harden could be out up to the start of the playoffs, which starts in a month. Brooklyn is also missing Kevin Durant, who is listed as day-to-day. Got to bring in Fox NBA analyst Chris Broussard. But Acho, where's your panic meter in terms of what the Nets are going through?
CB, first off, I can't be more excited. Couldn't have been more excited to see you, big dog, because I'm ready to hear your thoughts on this one, Broussard. I am ready. I've been eager and awaiting. But Nets fans, y'all got to stop lying to yourselves, because the panic meter is high for me, and it should be high for you. Y'all got three superstars. That's the big three we know: KD, Kyrie, Harden. But here's the kicker. Kevin Durant has played 24 games in roughly 700 days. Kevin Durant hasn't played more than 6 consecutive games this season. So we can't even count on KD to get through an entire 7-game playoff series. That's based on KD's physical reputation, not my opinion. Kyrie, he's missed 11 games this season, all based upon primarily his own choice. So that leaves you with James Harden. And James Harden can for sure be trusted to be left with. He leads the team in assists. He leads the team in rebounds. He leads the team in steals. So James Harden is a bad man. But now James Harden is an absent man. Now, if you don't know about soft tissue injuries, if you come back from a hamstring and re-aggravate your hamstring, that means you tried to do too much too soon. So, Nets fans, you can't bring James Harden back too soon, because what happens if he re-aggravates it again and now he has to miss time and you're dependent upon Kyrie and KD to lead you through the playoffs? Well, you would think Kyrie could do it, but the only problem is teams typically have more collective success without Kyrie than they do with Kyrie. Y'all remember the Boston Celtics? Kyrie gets hurt. The Celtics go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Next year, Kyrie comes back. They lose in the second round. Next year, Kyrie's gone to the Nets, and the Celtics go back to the conference finals. Y'all remember how last year the Nets were an overachieving team? Without Kyrie, Kyrie came back. They were an achieving team. Kyrie left. They were an overachieving team again. The record's really negligible in Kyrie on the Nets with their record with him versus without him, but I'm just going to leave that there. I don't make the news. I just deliver it. So with all that being said, my panic button is so very high for the Nets without Harden because Harden was the one dude you could count on. Now you got to count on KD to lead you through, but KD's never even played 7 consecutive games all season. You got to count on Kyrie to lead you through, but let a black man call Kyrie the N-word and he gonna lose it and get himself kicked out of game? Come on, people. Come on, people. My panic meter is high, but what you got, CB?
Wow. Good take.
Well, you saying they gonna be calling him the N-word up and down the court, huh? Every possession. Look, I know I usually come on this show and bring chastisement, but
yes,
I have to agree with Acho. My panic meter might not be as high as yours, but it's at a 7 on a scale of 1 to 10. And I've been with the Nets all year. Look, all things being equal, all teams in the NBA fully healthy, I think the Nets are the best team. And give them adequate preparation, they're the best team. But to your point, Acho, they don't check either of those buttons. 1, they're obviously not healthy. And 2, they don't have adequate preparation. For them to enter the playoffs with what now looks like 7 games with their big 3 together, I can't imagine that they could win the championship that way. Now, they're greatly talented, and one of the saving graces is that a lot of teams are beat up. This is a strange year. The Lakers are beat up. The Clippers now, Kawhi's out. Denver, Portland without Dame Lillard now. Utah without Donovan Mitchell. The East not quite as beat up, but still, teams haven't had, they're not practicing hard every day like they usually do because the schedule's so condensed. So those things could help the Nets if they get healthy. But you said it, Acho. Harden is the guy. With KD and Kyrie, they were just 2 and 3. Before James Harden joined Brooklyn, they were just 7 and 6. He was the straw that stirred the drink with his selflessness, with his playmaking ability, and they were rolling. Look, I even think KD and Harden could win the championship. I don't think any other twosome could do it. Harden and Kyrie and KD, they'll be a contender. They'll be dangerous. But unless they have Harden and KD together, they got no chance of winning it all. And to your point, to think they couldn't get through a 72-game season and play more than 7 games. Are we really to believe they're going to go 16 to 28 potentially straight games healthy? It just seems like God is saying, look, you're not going to buck the trend. You're not going to skip the line. Most teams that come together have to take their lumps before they win the championship, no matter how talented. These are your lumps. It just doesn't seem like it's in the cards for them to win it this year.
Damn, CB, you almost made it the whole take without chastisement. But at the end, you said you told me what God was thinking. What the hell? And then you condemned us for whoever is thinking something different. And you know who you're talking to. Me right here. I do agree with you here, Chris Broussard. It is a strange year in the NBA. And y'all both gave me some strange takes right now because I didn't know y'all were going to be such literalists. Think big picture. Think about this situation. I'm telling y'all, this is the new load management. These guys are sitting here not trying to play. And I'm going to give you a well-articulated statement about all of this. First of all, we all know in life, incentives shape behavior. How are you going to act? Correlated to what you're going to get out of acting that certain way. So the NBA and all these players have come to a realization, why should I play all these games? Every single year we're trying to shorten the season. And then the NBA caught wind of it. And the NBA said, hey, players, national televised games. Hey, players on back-to-backs, et cetera. They came out with these new protocols and rules. And the players like, oh, don't think we can't be creative in this situation. We can create the new load management. Walk with me here. This is Steve Nash's first year as a head coach, who used to consult with Steve Kerr. Former players. Let's talk about another former player who is credited with load management in the NBA in the first place, Doc Rivers. And it worked with the Big Three in Boston. And then it almost worked with the Clippers out here in LA. But when it didn't work, all of a sudden everyone questioned load management. But Steve Nash is sitting here taking the baton from his playing career. Don't forget how Steve Nash finished his illustrious career as a Los Angeles Laker, injured all the time with back issues. And I think Steve Nash came to a realization, and he's leading this team to understand, wink, wink, you're hurt, right? Wink, wink, it doesn't matter. These dudes have played 7 games together, and they're half a game back in the Eastern Conference at the number 2 seed. They're number 2 and ain't even played together. Oh, the team that won the Eastern Conference last year, the Miami Heat, are now the 7th seed. Play-in game. Shoe program, Nito. That's what we're talking about when you see the Miami Heat. So why are they incentivized to go out there and impress us because they played a full regular season? These dudes are jogging, laughing at everybody else. And who you going to stick in front of them? The Lakers? They're injured as well. You talked about the Jazz. You talk about Portland. Talk about my Clippers. None of these teams stack up in terms of talent with the Brooklyn Nets. I'm telling you, these guys are all winking and laughing at us on the outside saying that they can't run this race when all they're doing is coasting and drafting to run the finish line stretch of this marathon.
CB, you know what it sounds like, big dog? It sounds like Marcellus is trying to convince us of a bad lie. You ever CB, I know you've been lied to. You got kids, you know what I'm saying? You got friends. And you know when your kid telling you a lie and they think it sound good. Okay. And they like, but daddy, they not really hurt, daddy. They just trying to load manage because if they don't actually play together, daddy, and they save their strength, daddy, then at the end of the season, they going to have more energy pops than the rest of the team. So Kevin Durant, his skinny behind don't really got a thigh contusion, even though we saw that knee hit him in the thigh. He just faking. And James Harden, he didn't really have a hamstring issue. He's just trying to save his energy pops because that's really the best way for them to win it.
Yes,
and
you're
you just
onto it.
Looking like, I ain't that kind of fool. Ain't no way I'm believing that. Sal, if it's not load management for the Los Angeles Lakers with Anthony Davis.
Oh, yes, it is.
If it's not
yes,
load
it is.
management for LeBron James.
Oh, yes, it is.
If it's not load management
He came back and hit free throws and shooting threes. Yes, it is.
Kobe hit free throws off a torn Achilles.
Yeah.
If it's not load management for Spidey Mitchell, why are we all of a sudden going to assume that it's load management when James Harden has a hamstring, which he tried to come back from and re-aggravated? That's not load management, big dog. That's optimistic thinking on your behalf. But the biggest thing, and CB, you and I both spoke to it, so this is where I'm going to drive my point home on my second lap. Kevin Durant is a necessary piece to win a series, in my opinion, for the Nets, depending on who they playing in that series. Kevin Durant has not played more than 6 consecutive games this season. Right now, the Brooklyn Nets are set to face the Miami Heat, the Eastern Conference champions of last year, Miami Heat. That game is likely going to go to, at minimum, 6, and more than likely, 7.
Why?
Sal,
They
if
sorry this
KD
year.
ain't played more than 6 games consecutively all
They
season,
sorry this year.
and in
Ain't
the
going
first
6.
round, he's probably going to have to play at minimum 6. How you just blindly thinking to yourself, oh, it's not a big deal, I ain't got to panic? Bro, you might have to panic round 1 if you a Nets fan.
My God.
And look, to add to your point, Acho, KD hasn't played more than 6 straight games in nearly 2 years. It's been 23 months.
That's a good point.
All right. And I look, Marcellus, I might buy what you were saying about KD and Kyrie, because we know Kyrie just needs to take off mentally, right? But Harden has been an Iron Man his whole career. His 8 years with the Rockets, he played more games than all but 3 players in the league. James Harden don't rest. James Harden don't be extra cautious. James Harden wants the ball. So if he is out, he's really hurt. And remember, Kevin Durant was out 6.5 weeks with the hamstring injury. They thought it would be 2 games. That was initially they said at least 2 games. It turned out to be 6.5 weeks. The playoffs start in a month. If it's just 5 weeks, 5.5, 6 weeks for Harden, then I won't say they're in trouble. They'll get out of the first round. But it's not looking good for them to win the championship, which is obviously their ultimate goal.
Man, will y'all stop? AD is load managing, tendinosis. Oh, yeah, he needs another 2 weeks, indefinitely. LeBron is load managing with his high ankle sprain. He could come back if it were playoff time tomorrow, but he's not because he's load managing as well. Y'all doubted KD in his return. Now you're going to doubt KD in his playoff play in terms of him returning. Is he going to be the same? Came back averaging 30 on your head. Yeah, I'm going to be the same, if not better. Y'all better stop this. Acho's logic is so flawed. Acho's logic tells us, how are you going to be able to play if you don't play yourself into shape? That's why the NFL passed years ago that we had to play 4 preseason games as professional athletes, but in college, you have no preseason games. Just go out there and play. Acho, this flawed logic. You're the reason why we had them dumbass games before the season started. Harden's biggest issue in his career has been playoff fatigue. Why in the hell you think he's going to go out there and be the Iron Man and fatigue again in the playoffs? He's trying to run a different course. Let me say it like this. There are 3 choices. Otto's still laughing. There are 3 choices to the Brooklyn Nets. And thank you, Steve Nash, for cracking the code, the Da Vinci Code of how to load manage. Play hard to impress all of us as reporters, analysts, hosts, and pundits. Stupid. Wave the white flag and say, oh, we're just going to do this condensed schedule, and who cares about it? That is not even really an option. Or just stay in the race, jogging, drafting, walking, whatever you got to do, and then sprint when you need to. Because guess what? You get to play the Miami Heat first. I already told you they're a play-in game team if they even make it to the playoffs. I'll give it to you in story form before we get up out of here. Bill Walsh was credited as kind of relaxing the NFL practices first. We all know how great Bill Walsh was as a coach. But he was the first one. Everybody else used to kill their players at practice. Bill Walsh was like, chill out. Chill out. Now, I know this personally because Marv Levy was our coach in Buffalo, and he also got credit for, like, chilling. I'll give you this story real quick. Marv Levy in practice one day is looking over there at the sideline. He's like, hey, what y'all doing? We were like, huh? Dumbfounded. We were like, we're standing here. He's like, why are you standing there? Dumbfounded again. What do you mean why are we standing here? He said, what do you do during the games? We were like, we sit on the bench. He's like, so practice like you play. Sit your butts down. And our heads exploded. First time I ever heard a coach like, chill, bruh. Steve Nash, who finished his career injured, is now looking at these guys like the race is at the finish line. Chill, bruh.
Here's my issue. That story undermines the point.
What's the point?
The point is, if the goal is to practice like you play.
Yeah.
And the regular season is thus practice because play is the playoffs, then shouldn't the Nets be practicing like they play? Shouldn't Kevin Durant be practicing at least play 7 games straight, sir, so we can see if you can at least get through a series against the Heat, against the Bucks, at minimum, at least you won't scoff at this one, at minimum against the Lakers.
No.
at least practice the regular season. Get through 7 straight games, because come the playoffs, you're going to have to play at minimum during the course of one of those stretches 7 games, or the 6 that you've played right now. If it's practice how you play, can they at least do that?
Nope, because it's not playoff time right now. I'm going to give it to you like this. How they always say, the only way to get in football shape is to play football. The only way to be ready for the postseason and have that all kick in is to be in the postseason, as John Wooden once said. Practice doesn't make perfect, brother. Perfect practice makes perfect. This ain't no postseason. Ain't nobody tripping but y'all, too. Speaking of the NBA, make sure you enter today's Fox Bet Super 6 NBA contest for a chance to win $25,000. Download the Fox Bet Super 6 app and pick the outcomes of 6 of today's games for your chance to win. Completely free to play. Coming up, Jameis Winston did not hold back on his speech to kids at a football camp. We'll tell you what we thought about it next on Speak for Yourself. You're watching Speak for Yourself, Marcel Swally, Emmanuel Show. My dog. Let's get to Jameis Winston, who could follow Drew Brees as the Saints starting quarterback this season. Jameis he's had an up and down career, let's be real about it. And at a football camp that was also attended by Dak Prescott, Jameis let the kids know about his journey. Take a listen.
I went from being the #1 draft pick to being everybody laugh at me. But guess what? I'm about that business. I'm outworking everybody at my position. I know that right here, right? But I'm doing day by day. I'm doing things every single day. Commit to the dream.
Even the cameraman was like, hey, wait a minute, is that Dak Prescott? All right, so Otto, what's your biggest takeaway from Jameis's pan-failed speech to the kids at the football camp?
Number one, I love Jameis.
I do, too.
His speeches need so much work, his motivational speeches. I feel like a motivational speech entails a lot of things. It entails voice, like what's the bass? What's the tone of your voice? I think Jameis is cool there. It entails passion. Jameis kills the passion. Like, he gonna get you hype, but the delivery be so suspect sometimes. If we could just sharpen the delivery, I would be all in. Like, he got the voice for it, he got the passion for it, but then you really listen and you listen too much and you're like, what'd you say? But I love Jameis, so I'm going to ignore all that right now.
Oh, really? You going to ignore it? I can't ignore that.
Have to,
hey, jury, forgive everything you just heard. No, I can't,
I love him, man. I do.
What?
My biggest takeaway is that Jameis is going to have the #1 overall pick resurgence that we've seen so many former #1 overall picks. I remind y'all, Carson Palmer, #1 overall pick to the Cincinnati Bengals. He did some great things in Cincinnati. Took him to the playoffs, but most notably never won a playoff game for Cincinnati. Goes to Oakland, and that just was awkward. 2 losing seasons, got up out of there. Carson Palmer enjoyed his greatest success when he was in Arizona with Bruce Arians. His third destination, his third stop, that's where he went to an NFC championship game.
That was his best? You remember Cincy, Carson Palmer?
Statistically.
Before the knee in the playoffs?
He was a beast. The most touchdown passes he ever had.
I'm with you.
And went to the NFC championship game.
Wow.
So, like, in Cincy, he did some things, but if you're just purely looking at statistics, most success in Arizona. Alex Smith. And in San Fran, he had some bad years. Some bad, terrible years. Yeah. He had 1 season with more than 11 wins. 1 season in San Fran, but some bad years. Goes to Kansas City. 3 11-win seasons. Goes to Kansas City, throws for the most touchdown passes he had ever thrown for. So Alex Smith, his second destination, he enjoyed his greatest success. As asinine as it sounds, statistically speaking, Peyton Manning enjoyed his greatest success in his next stop. It sounds crazy, but purely statistically speaking, not opinionated, he had a more prolific offense in Denver than he ever had in Indianapolis. Even though I don't know. Statistics know. I know you played against him.
I'm coming to join you. He just said, what?
Statistically,
I know he had that 55 touchdown
year. He had that year.
God, Lord,
55 touchdowns. The most he ever had prior was 49. Goes to 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. He went to 2 in all his years. And he won 1. I know, but it's the reality. The reality is so many former #1 overall picks enjoy greater success at their next stop. Jameis Winston will follow that track. I'll end my first lap very simply. Jameis Winston is one of 8 quarterbacks to throw for over 5,000 yards in a season in NFL history. The 8 names like that, Dan Marino, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and you got guys like Jameis Winston in that category of 8.
Special.
So with that being said, Sal, it's like Jameis got the talent And now he has an opportunity with the coach who I think will groom him. What I take from that speech is it's time for him to take off.
You took something from that speech after your intro?
That's right.
That speech was special, but the special your grandma says. You know, grandma, oh, that boy's special. That was one of those speeches. I had that take, and I didn't want to go there, but you did, so all right, it's out. Jameis, work on them speeches, bro. I mean, if I'm on his team, I'm clowning. Oh, no.
The passion,
look, from
the voice.
We already, he comes to the plate ready to give a speech. It's already 2 strikes because he ate the W's. Once you eat the W's, dog, you got to come perfect.
Point. But the passion behind eating W's was strong. The voice behind eating W's was strong, but you just can't eat W's. Like the content.
Yeah.
He just needs a content fix.
Yeah. Look, shout out to Jameis Winston, who I do respect. Shout out to Otis Leverett, my boy, my former teammate, who's a beast. Love that dude who trains Jameis Winston. Respect for them and their whole camp. Love it. That said, I think Jameis Winston is suffering from something that actually benefits me, which is I get better as a player every year I'm on TV. You know why? Because all I do is talk. So when you talk, you can get in front of a bunch of kids and say anything. Them kids going to be just happy Jameis Winston in the building. And Dak Prescott sitting there like, you ain't outworking everybody, bro. And if you are, this is what's sad about this. See, I'm a realist. If you are outworking everybody and you're in this position, Jameis, right now, which you were a backup, 3rd stringer, and now you're fighting for your job, probably going to get it. But still, if you're in this position, you've been outworking everybody, that's not saying a ton about your talent, because that talent, if it's meeting with all that hard work, what stops you, Jameis Winston? Oh, you don't want to address that in front of these kids, do you? Well, I want to on our show. My grandma always said, baby, you can't make sense out of nonsense. And Jameis is up there trying to make some sense out of nonsense. Just admit it, Jameis. It's been a roller coaster ride for you in terms of your career, the evolution of your career. Now, I love your point at the end, and this is what I want to highlight for Jameis. Your next stop could be your best stop, which is this situation right here in New Orleans coming from Tampa Bay. Peyton Manning threw 15-plus interceptions in each of his first 5 seasons. We know who Peyton Manning became. Brett Favre, most of NFL history in terms of interceptions. 6 seasons, he threw 20-plus. We know Eli Manning, we know John Elway even threw double-digit interceptions every single season of his 16-year career and became John Elway. So don't let that stop you, Jameis. But also be real, bruh. I hate when people always want to highlight they good. I worked the hardest. I'm here. I responded. Why'd you get there? I'm that kid in camp. Why'd you fall off? And I need to hear it. Because, Jameis, you're 28-42 as an NFL starting quarterback. 1 winning season, 4 losing seasons. Most interceptions in the NFL since you've been in the NFL. And never took a team to the playoffs. So until Jameis Winston wants to profess his ills as much as the things that he thinks are going to go well for him going forward, I don't think that's a healthy mindset. The kids need to hear the real dope, pure and uncut. They don't need to hear you how you gonna be when they don't know how you work.
But Big Dog, he said, I went from being the #1 overall pick to everybody laughing.
And how? I'm that kid again. How that happened? But what happened was...
Here's a problem. I told you, Jameis Winston gives the delivery. It's his content, the suspect.
Okay.
You can't take everybody through the lower lows in the way in a motivational speech. You know that. Hey,
what?
They bigger than us. They faster than us. They better than us. They smarter than us. They look better than us. They girls are more attractive than us. But we gonna get this W. No, you ain't got time for all that.
But he up there
trying to motivate him.
He's talking personal triumph. You have to have that disparity. If you're #1 and right now you're trying to be #1 again, something happened in between those 2 #1s we need to talk about. If not, you're not filling in the gaps. If not, why did we get you here, Jameis Winston? I just want to talk to Dak. Dak just got $160 million and has never fallen off. I want to talk to him. You hogging the mic, bro. That's what somebody said. Pass the butter. Pass the mic if you're not going to keep it 100.
Here's the thing. Even if Jameis ain't keeping it 100, let's keep it 100.
All right, let's do it.
Because keeping it a buck, you spoke real. Jameis has some very down years, and we all know that.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Jameis Winston's good. Second most passing yards in NFL history through his first 5 seasons. Jameis Winston, Bucs had a top 10 total offense in 4 of his first 5 years as a starter. Top 10 in passing yards when he came into the league and passing touchdowns from 2015 to 2019. It's a whole bunch of good there. What we can at least take is this. If Jameis is working hard, and we know he's incredibly talented, then what we have to assume was him and Bruce Arians the last few years or the last year, it was a bad combination. Like, it's like if 2 incredibly passive people get together, it will look okay at times because they're not going to argue because they're both very passive. But the problem is it will all boil up together, and there will be some good, but there will be a lot of bad because they won't know how to have any conflict resolution. Jameis and Bruce Arians are both big arm, big gun, big-minded people. It looked good at times. 5,100 passing yards, 30 touchdowns. But then they also had a whole lot of bad. 33 interceptions. Give Jameis Winston his perfect counterbalance and Sean Payton, and I think we will see his best.
Boy, these kids are getting tortured at these camps by these pros showing up. Cam Newton somewhere sitting there like, hey, hold my beer, Jameis Winston. Why you go to a camp and mess things up like this? I give it to you like it was given to me. I saw Kirk Franklin. Kirk Franklin, the gospel dude?
Yeah, that's my
gospel
dog.
rapper. That's your dog, you know?
Big bro, yeah.
Okay. All right. He said this, and this is...
Don't slander Kirk. I'll walk off set.
Dog, don't slander anybody. I'll walk off set.
Whatever.
No, this is positive.
Okay,
I ain't gonna talk about what his son filmed him doing, which his son was running wrong too. All right, here we go. He said, hey, hold on, you can't be gospelist and then want to fight. We can't do this. He said, I can impress you talking about my accomplishments, but I can impact you
talking about my
showing
scars.
You my scars.
Talked about it.
Jameis, you gonna get in front of these kids, man. Impact them kids, homeboy. Peyton Manning is a Hall of Famer. Trevor Lawrence has not had a snap in NFL yet. We'll tell you if we're okay with them being compared. That's next on Speak for Yourself.
Where you see Kirk say that? He said it on the... We're about a week away from officially hearing if Trevor Lawrence is the next #1 overall pick in the draft. Now, his former head coach Dabo Swinney already said Lawrence could be an international superstar. But now, Dabo says Lawrence's hero growing up was Hall of Famer Peyton Manning, and he even compared the two quarterbacks. Y'all take a listen.
He's big like Peyton, but just a better athlete. You know, I mean, he can just flat out run. I mean, he's so different. He's got a high aptitude for the game, processes things quickly, anticipates well, you know, can make all the throws, and got a bright future for sure.
So, Sal,
yes, sir?
You okay with Dabo comparing Trevor Lawrence to Peyton Manning?
More than okay with this. I got the numbers here to support it, so I'm not speaking out of turn right here. But one was a generational talent since middle school. You know, when you used to show up, try to get a bean burrito and french fries and say hi to Alexis, and you had lunch tickets. I don't know if you did. I did. Had holes in my Nikes. Yeah, that was me. Dog, Trevor Lawrence didn't have that path. Since middle school, he's been the man. He's been the best at his position worldwide. Meanwhile, Peyton Manning wasn't even the best athlete in his own family at that time. His brother, Cooper Manning, he fighting over mashed potatoes with Cooper Manning. And Cooper Manning like, shut up, Peyton. Those are my mashed potatoes. He was a better talent than his own brother. That said, let's just look at the numbers right here. We're talking about both of these guys going to be #1 overall picks. So, okay, that warrants a comparison. Let's talk about how at Tennessee, Peyton Manning, 39-6. Trevor Lawrence at Clemson, 34-2. Uh-oh, Trevor Lawrence better record in college? Okay, whatever. Did Trevor Lawrence have a higher completion percentage, passing yards per game, passing touchdowns, and passer efficiency than Peyton Manning did in his college career? Yes, he did. What the? Did Trevor Lawrence never throw more than 8 interceptions in a season while Peyton threw more than 10 twice? If all those are numbers and facts, then yeah, I'm going to compare the two dudes. Is Trevor Lawrence in conversation for anybody else going #1 overall? What about Peyton Manning when he came out? Ryan Leaf in the building. And there's no comparing anybody right now to Trevor Lawrence, but at that time, there was a comparison for even Peyton Manning. Ryan Leaf. So, yeah, I'm with you, Dabo. Compare them dudes.
Bro, I wish all my friends, family, significance, and others talked about me like Dabo Swinney talked about Trevor Lawrence. Bro, ain't got nothing bad to say, not one bad thing. Like, everything he says is like, Trevor Lawrence is the greatest thing ever. But he's not talking out of turn, so I love the comparison. Like, we think of Peyton Manning now as one of the greatest quarterbacks to have ever played the game. But back then, to your point, Peyton Manning was tossing with Ryan Leaf for who was going to go #1. Peyton Manning was 0-3 against Florida, so people were like, okay, can Big Dog win these big games against these top-caliber opponents?
Yes.
Trevor Lawrence, on the flip side, knocked out the Big Dog, Alabama, in his freshman year when he was truly undermatched when you look at Alabama and them being a historical juggernaut. So, yes, when you have the hindsight bias of Peyton Manning, you might think that's asinine. Don't compare these little kids to Peyton Manning. But no. At the time, Trevor Lawrence is a better prospect than Peyton Manning.
Yes.
Trevor Lawrence has a mental aptitude, like Dabo said. He has the arm, but he can also run. And this generation of quarterbacks trying to put stress on defenses, you have to be mobile to some sort of capacity. So I respect it, but let's see if NFL analyst, our guy, friend of the show, Bucky Brooks, likes it. So, Bucky, you okay with Dabo comparing Trevor Lawrence to Peyton Manning?
I actually love the comparison because Trevor Lawrence wanted to be Peyton Manning. That's why he wears the number 16, because he watched him when he was playing at Tennessee, and that was the guy that really inspired him to play the quarterback position. I think when you think about Trevor Lawrence, here's what the comparison really is about. It's about, are you ready to be a franchise quarterback? Meaning, do you have the poise, composure, leadership ability, talent, and winning pedigree to lift a franchise and take it to another level? Trevor Lawrence checks off all those boxes. And so I think it's a rare situation where you have a guy who has been hailed and celebrated as a QB1 since middle school, who lives up to all the expectations. I think what's bigger than the comparison to Peyton Manning is in that same interview, Dabo Swinney compared Trevor Lawrence to Steph Curry. He said he is the purest passer that I've ever seen and I've been around. When we watch him in practice, we marvel at his technical skills. And so when we talk about this guy's talent, talk about like the physical tools that he has. But what Dabo wants us to know is this dude is gifted and he works at it. So the Steph Curry comparison is the one that resonates with me even more than the Peyton Manning comparison.
I'm with you there. All right, let's go LeBron James. Let's go basketball. You know us. We always got to come with an example, metaphor, and an analogy, something. We just can't stay on script. Y'all remember Lenny Cook? Y'all remember he was better than LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony at that time? Now, at that time, you make that comparison, and then we all know that life has to run its course, and we'll see how that comparison turns out. You can make bad comparisons that will work out or not work out. But in the moment, was it a bad comparison? Correct. It wasn't a bad comparison at that time. This is not a bad comparison right now. Trevor Lawrence could fall off. Trevor Lawrence could become Lenny Cook. Trevor Lawrence could become nothing. It happens. We're watching it right now with some #1 overall picks. Be real. But the thing is, in this moment, and I always like to talk about the contrast between decisions and results. I think people who have an issue with this are focusing in on the results. Like, I'm just projecting. I saw the sheriff. I saw Peyton Manning. There's no way he's going to be him. Yeah, but the decision right now to make a comparison is accurate. It's not out of turn. So no issues right here whatsoever. And y'all know Peyton Manning is my favorite quarterback ever. But still, at this moment, entering the NFL draft as a prospect, I see Trevor Lawrence even looking better than Peyton Manning was at that time.
You know, it's funny because when you talk about the comparison between the two, I will say this about Trevor Lawrence, because throughout this process, he really hasn't had to face a lot of criticism regarding his game. And I think the main reason is because people are willing to buy into the person and the character that he's exhibited to this point, meaning they're willing to say that because he does show so much poise, so much composure, he does have a winning pedigree, he has shown the leadership skill, and he has been big time on the big stage, that they believe that the NFL game won't be too big for him. And as much as we talk about being a franchise quarterback, being about the talent, it's really more than that. It's the responsibilities of being the face of the franchise. Can you walk in those shoes each and every day? Can you handle the pressure that comes along with being the #1 representative of the franchise? To this point, Trevor Lawrence has done all of those things. I think that is really where the comparison to Peyton Manning comes.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence said, you can't compare anybody to me. And Peyton Manning walking around looking at Ryan Leaf at that time, going back to 1998, it was a different animal. So, yeah, you could compare them. But just be careful how long you're going to make that comparison. We'll see. Coming up, Jalen Hurts was not named the Eagles starter today. We'll tell you if we have an issue with that. Damn it! That's next. Don't speak for yourself. Y'all out there tripping in Philly. Jalen Hurts is expected to be the Eagles starting quarterback this season, but not so fast. Philly's new head coach, Nick Sirianni, addressed the media today and declined to name Hurts the starting quarterback. And instead, he's emphasizing competition. Listen to this.
To name any starters at this particular time, we've been working with these guys for 2 days, right? We've been working with these guys for 2 days. My biggest thing is competition. Again, we've talked a little bit about my core values. It's my second core value. It's this team's second core value. Competition's a huge thing, and we're going to have competition at every position.
Bucky is back, but Acho, you have an issue with the Eagles not naming Hurts the starter?
Bro, I got a huge issue with it. And shout out to my dog, a former colleague, Dave Hellman, who said this best. He said, Nick Sirianni not naming Jalen Hurts the starter is either dumb, a lie,